Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Neo. In this video, I am working on a client. We are going to be doing a super fun and soft nude set with just some glitter and some amazing 3D flowers. So to get started, I am pushing back her cuticles. This client's cuticles were very thick and very like stuck on the nail plate. So if it looks like I'm being aggressive, I kind of was. But it was totally fine. She wasn't injured or anything like that. I sprayed her hands with some Swipe from Young Nails just to get them moist and to disinfect a little bit, and then I pushed it back with that metal cuticle pusher. Now I'm going in with this football diamond bit, and I'm just trying to get it to scrape up any cuticle on her nail plate and to try and get it up under her eponychium just a tiny bit. It was really tough. And she was telling me, here she's pointing, she's just like, yeah, my cuticles are really hard. She's a nurse and she washes her hands and uses sanitizer constantly. So her skin was very dry. But you know, we did what we could to help her out before applying any extensions. So after that, I felt like I needed just a little bit more. So I went in with a cuticle carbide bit. So this has a little bit of teeth on it versus it being a diamond bit. So it's eating up her cuticle a little bit harder, which I thought was great for this because they were just really tough. And I would know because I have really tough cuticles too, but hers were like next level. But this bit, sorry that it's out of frame, whoops. This bit definitely helped to get up more that the diamond bit couldn't. And yeah, that's just what I was doing there. After, what am I even saying? After that, I believe we went with a sanding band, a fine grit sanding band, and I'm going to be smoothing out her nail, getting rid of the shine, and then also using that sanding band to also eat up any cuticle that is left on the nail. So all three of those bits definitely help to give a smoother and cleaner appearance to the nail plate. I got up as much cuticle as I possibly could, but you know, if it grows in thick like that, then that's just, you know, the anatomy of the client, and you just have to do what you can to kind of prepare the nails so that you have the best chance for a prolonged extension. So that's basically what I was doing. So I'm going in with these clear tips. I got them on Amazon and they're like a coffin shape. But they got these, they have this like weird curve on the bottom of the nail and down the side length of the nail. It's really weird, but it didn't affect this, you know, design because she asked for them to be, you know, shorter. I would say this is like a medium length set. So I'm just sizing her up, making sure that the tips fit sidewall to sidewall. If they are too small, they will pinch and you'll definitely get lifting. And if they are too big, the product will get up on the side of the skin, and moisture, oil, creams, whatever the person is using will be able to get up under the sides, and you will have a surface breakdown. So it's important that they fit. I think on this hand, that tip was a little too large, so I actually went in with a straight edge clipper, clipped a little bit off of each side of, as you can see with my clipper there, and then it fit perfectly. So that's an option for you. It's better to go too big and fit it to size down rather than sizing down and squeezing the client's nail into the tip because it will not last. Okay, just using a little bit of glue to get it on and just making sure that there's no air bubbles. After that, I'm going to go in with a tip cutter, cut the nails down, and then we'll file to shape. Now I'm just using the same fine sanding band. The speed is a little bit higher. Usually when I'm using it on the nail plate, I'm using it at about 3, 4, or 5,000 RPM. 3 is the lowest that my e-file goes to. But when blending the tips, I usually keep it around 6 or 7, just to give it a little bit more juice to file that the free edge of that, not the free edge, sorry, the smile line of the tip onto the surface of the nail. You just want a smooth transition so that when you apply that first bead of acrylic, you don't get that weird smile line that settles into that ridge of the tip. So that's basically all I'm doing here, and scuffing up the surface of the tip, because it just, I feel like, it may not, but I feel like it just gives better adhesion to the acrylic from the tip. Getting to the fun stuff, I am prepping her nails with my regular system. It always works for me. I'm using the Mia Secret Dehydrator, the Mia Secret Primer, and the Young Nails Protein Bond. So I'm just giving every single nail a thin coating of each, and making sure to tell her to not touch her hair, because she was scratching her hair so much, and I kept giving her the side eye, like, put your hands down. Especially when you're priming. Why is it that clients wait till you put primer on their nails to then start touching their bag or like scratching their face? It's like, just keep your hand on the table. So I gave her the eye one time, and she was just like, oops, sorry. So that was funny, but I just had the flashback when I saw the primer, because I was like, oh man, here we go. She was like scratching her head so hard, and I was like, please stop doing that. So yeah, I'm just putting a thin coat of the Young Nails Protein Bond on this hand and the other, and then we'll get started. One thing to note that I learned in nail school about primer is that if you are really slow and it takes more than 30 minutes for you to do one hand, I would suggest doing your primer each hand separately. Primer is only, I would say, sticky. It's not the word sticky, but you know what I mean. Primer is only, I guess, useful or sticky for up to 30 minutes. So if you notice, I'm very quick with adding this layer of clear acrylic. If you're doing a more involved design and you're someone who likes to do one hand at a time instead of doing, you know, one step 10 times, then I would just advise priming one hand at a time so that you don't lose the adhesion that primer basically gives you. So I'm going in with the Sugar and Cream. I'm still loving this clear acrylic. I'm gonna go back to my Young Nails Core Clear, but for right now, I'm really enjoying the Sugar and Cream Crystal Clear. And I am doing my normal thin layer of clear acrylic on all 10 of her fingers. I'm only showing you one hand, but I'm basically moving. Anytime I do nails, I try to do all 10 fingers at the same time. And now we're going in with the design. So I decided to use that Young Nails glitter that I got in the mystery box over the Thanksgiving holiday. This is from the, I think it's called Rockstar, and it's from one of those collections. I'm not sure. You guys know that the mystery boxes this year were not the greatest, but I'm using one of the glitters that came in there. I actually had 2 of these in my mystery box, which was a little bit annoying. And that Sugar and Cream clear acrylic. So it is a loose glitter, it's not an acrylic. So what I'm doing to get this to stick is dipping my brush into the clear acrylic first, then dipping that bead into the glitter, and then I am applying it that way to the nail. And I'm just applying a thin amount. I'm gonna go back in and add the glitter layer again, just because when I ombre glitters, I like the look of the glitter on top of the cuticle bead instead of it being the other way around, but I kind of forgot. But we're just gonna go back and do that anyway. But that's what I'm doing. Adding the glitter to each of the tips of the nail except for the middle finger. And now I'm going in with the TheRedAcrylics Caramel. So this is one of the newer colors that I got from a recent haul. I will link that video down below. And again, it's a beautiful nude color. I feel like the TheRedAcrylics just gets dark skin girl nudes really well. This one's a little bit lighter than the color that I used in a previous video. I will link that in the card so you can check that out. Just check out all my videos, okay? I could definitely use the views. And I'm just ombreing it down to pretty much nothing, just blending it down to cover the nail of the free edge of her natural nail, because we did use a clear tip. I just don't want to see it. I will go back and ombre the glitter on top of this, so I'm not being like particularly careful in how I blend that bead down. I'm just giving it coverage. I want the edge of the tip to be clear, so I'm not taking it all the way down, but I'm just swiping it down till it kind of fades out, because we're going to go over that glitter again. The middle finger though will be a full nail of this caramel nude color though. And here I'm going back with that glitter and just back swiping so that we have the glitter over that nude color, so that the glitter is fading over the nude versus the nude fading over the glitter. I just like the look of glitter over the cuticle bead, I guess, if that makes sense, rather than the cuticle bead over the glitter. I just like it better that way. But that's basically what I'm doing here, just to correct the mistake that I made in the first place by applying the glitter first, but no biggie, making it work. And now it is time to clear cap. So I'm going in with my sugar and cream crystal clear, and I'm just clear capping all 10 fingers, just making sure to give full coverage to the nail. We don't need too much product. I know I'm like swiping away a ton of product, but there's no need to like build up anything serious on this nail, just because they are fairly short. They're not, you know, particularly long nails that need like a huge apex or anything like that. But yep, I'm just doing that, making sure to clean the sidewalls, get that free edge to be nice and sharp, and making sure that I'm just using a really good smooth application. As you can see, I do like to have my fingers tilted, not my fingers, but you know what I mean, the client's fingers tilted down when doing acrylic work, because gravity is your friend, right? If you add a bead and you're working it down, you don't have to worry about it flooding your cuticle. You can push the acrylic in different directions, but you know it's going to flow downwards, which is what we want. It gives you also a very smooth application to your acrylic, because you're not the one mushing it all over the place. You're just guiding it down, making sure it stays in the center of the nail. You build a natural apex that way, and you don't have to worry too much about like swiping it down and getting a lumpy result. So it's just what I like to do. I know everybody does their acrylic differently, but that's how I've been, you know, figuring out it works better for me. Always have the client have their fingers facing downwards. It just helps that way. Now I'm going with my 80/80 hand file, and I am just going to clean up the shape. Like I mentioned before, the surface of the nail is a little bit smoother, so I don't have too much to worry about there as far as filing, but I'm just making sure that the shape is nice and tight. Now we're going in with a extra fine. This is an extra fine dome top safety barrel carbide bit. That's a mouthful, guys. But you know what I mean. It's an extra fine bit. It's a dome top, which means it's a safety. The top does not have teeth. It is safe to use all around the skin. The only caveat is that because it doesn't have that sharp edge, you can't really get tight into the cuticle and sidewall area. So I will be going in later with another bit just to clean that area up. But at this point, I'm just smoothing out the surface of the nail, running my thumb down occasionally to see if I can feel any lumps or bumps. And I'm using my Young Nails dust collector to just make sure to capture any dust or anything like that. So that's basically what's happening here. Okay, so correction, that gold bit that I was using was a fine carbide bit. This is an extra fine carbide bit. So it is not going to be doing any debulking for you. Extra fine means that those teeth on this carbide bit are very, very close together. It's not going to be debulking anything because it doesn't have enough grit on it to kind of eat through that product. But I'm basically using it because it's not a safety to get really tight into those cuticle and sidewall areas. As you can see, I'm just cleaning that up and making sure that there's a good separation from the skin and the product, and just to clean that application area up. So that's basically what I'm using this bit for. Buffing the nails with a buffing block, and then I'm gonna go have her wash her hands, and then I'm gonna clean her fingers with some swipe and a lint-free wipe. Now we can get to the fun stuff. So this is a pretty clean set. Nothing crazy, but then we were like, let's go off with the designs. And she was just like, I want bling, I want sparkle, I want something special. And I was like, all right, I'll see what I can do. So I'm going in with my bling gel method. I'm adding the Two Guys No Wipe top coat bling gel, and then a glossy top coat on top. This is gonna be the layer that I stick my gems into. I find it's really, really good method to adhere bling or charms to. It kind of allows the pieces that you add to sink into the two layers of gel, and you get a pretty good adhesion. I normally like this method. The one thing about it is that gravity is a factor, so the longer you have pieces in it, you'll slowly see them shifting, but it does give you time. You don't have to worry about it curing or a gem getting stuck in a place that you don't want it to be. So yeah, I'm just using regular rhinestones that you can get pretty much anywhere. They're not Swarovski, just rhinestones to create this, I guess, diamond shaped effect in the middle of her nail. I'm going to be using smaller crystal AB stones around the edges, but nothing crazy. After that, I'm going to clean her sidewalls with my finger just so that we don't get product buildup to mess up the shape that we worked so hard for, and then I'm going to have her cure for 60 seconds. And on the finger right next to that middle finger, I think this is her pointer or her ring finger, I'm not sure, her ring finger, I'm doing the same thing. We're gonna be adding some bling, just nothing as, you know, extravagant, just 4 crystal AB rhinestones going in a diagonal across the nail here. And then I'm going to use some silver caviar beads and go around each of the stones. I just thought that that would be a nice addition to it. Nothing crazy. And I'm just using a wax pencil that you can kind of get anywhere. I know like they have like fancy tools that you can use to apply bling, but honestly, these wax pencils come with like, every time I order rhinestones or anything like that on Amazon, I get like 10 of these wax pencils, and the great thing about them is that you can just sharpen them whenever you need to. So I just like the wax pencil because they're easy, they're like uber cheap, and they get the job done. But you can use whatever, you know, works for you in terms of picking up and, you know, pushing stones and things around like that. I had her cure that finger. So the stones are on there. It's a glossy top coat. Now I'm just adding the same glossy top coat to the rest of the nails, and then those nails will be finished, but we'll come back to those bling nails in a sec. On to the fun stuff. I know I've been saying the fun stuff for a while. Now we're going to be doing some 3D flower work. So I'm using my Young Nails Speed White. And this white is so freaking white, guys. It is so opaque. I was thinking in hindsight I should have used a softer white, like a milky white or like just an off-white. But this came out really good, and I'm basically going to be doing cascading simple petal flowers down the length of that diagonal. So basically around every single one of those rhinestones with the caviar beads, I'm going to be placing petals overlapping each other. And as you can see, I'm not doing one entire flower. I'm moving around doing different petals because not every flower is going to have all of its petals shown because they are overlapping and cascading over one another. So the tip I have, I guess, with flowers is just make sure that the bead is not overly wet. You don't want it to run. And before pressing into the petal, dry your brush. So like tap your brush out on your napkin. As you can see, I do a little tap, 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 tap. And then as the bead is drying or polymerizing, you can go back in and press it. So as you can see, I'm going back to previous beads and pressing, and that's how you get the texture from the brush. It kind of, oops, finger in the way. It kind of allows you to press into the bead, and then you get the texture from the brush, which helps. And I guess with flowers, that texture is kind of nice. So that's basically what I'm doing. I'm not doing one complete flower at a time. I'm just going back and forth. Okay, well, like this one may not have a petal here, but then I'll overlap over there. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm just figuring it out. You know, you're watching me figure it out. There's no like equation to do this, but I think this is a really cool design. I've done this a few times. I think I've done this already on this channel, but with a different kind of set, and it was shorter than this, but I will link that in case you're interested. And I did two-tone flowers. I think two-tone flowers are really pretty. Maybe if I had used the caramel color from the TheRedAcrylics in addition to this opaque speed white from Young Nails, the flowers wouldn't be so stark. But I still think that they came out really pretty. But that's basically what's happening here. And I'm doing another flower on the ring finger with this diamond shaped bling work. So the bead that I added was a little bit too big, but as you saw, I just swiped away at it. I swiped the tip of my brush down the middle to create that line in the flower petal, and then I pressed on either side, and now I'm mushing that edge to a point to kind of get that pointy petal. And I'm going to do the same thing at the top and then just add those rounded petals along the sides of the rhinestone just to get that same effect to fill in that space. I think this would be way nicer on a longer nail, just maybe the nail was a little bit short and it just looked crowded, or I could have used a smaller rhinestone down the middle. Either way, I think that this was really pretty and gave a really glamorous effect. It took the nails just from like simple with a little bit of glitter to like really, really special, maybe like wedding nails. But I think it came out really, really pretty. Again, one thing that I would change is that maybe I would double dip into 2 different acrylic powders so that the flower petals wouldn't be stark white. If they kind of faded with one color into another, that might have softened them a bit or given them just a little bit more dimension. But I think this came out really, really pretty. But I'll just let you watch me figure the rest of this out. Nothing crazy happening here. And here I am adding the last petal. I think this set came out really, really nice. Like I said, these flowers kind of elevated it so that it looked a little bit more fancy. I don't know what's happening here with my hand. But this is the set. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know, you learned something, or maybe just like watching nails like I do. Here's your action shot. They came out really, really pretty. Thanks for watching. Like if you like, subscribe for more. I'm getting them out for you. Thank you for watching. Bye.